Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another MLB trade rumor video. I'm going to be honest, this one hits kind of close to home today. We are talking about Max Kepler and the Minnesota Twins. Basically, Max Kepler doesn't really have a home, I don't think, anymore on the Minnesota Twins, at least for the 2023 season. He's getting a little bit older. He's costing a little bit more. So we're going to talk about what teams could possibly have interest in Max Kepler. Let's start with the story that we know. The Twins, they're not really doing much this offseason, but they did go sign Joey Gallo. And I think a lot of fans, especially Twins fans, think that Joey Gallo will take the place of Max Kepler. He's a right-hander, or a left-hander who plays right field, I should say. And he is a power bat. Max Kepler kind of showed that he was a power bat for 1 year, maybe, but then really hasn't done much. Basically, look at 2019, where he actually received MVP votes. That was kind of his only great year. Otherwise, he's always been kind of like, you know. And I think in 2019, he actually had like 5, 6, or 7 walk-offs. I don't know. He seemed to be the walk-off machine. I don't know if that was his career, 2019 or whatever, but he was really, really good for one season. And then always has kind of been subpar. I mean, even if you look at his stats, 115 games last year at the age 29, 227 average, an OBP of 318, which again is a middle of the pack for him at least. An OPS plus of 93. He was a 2.1 WAR player, which I guess is good with 9 home runs and 43 RBI, but really not the greatest, right? He's a good player. He's a fine player, and I think he'd make a great home somewhere else. Just probably not on the Twins with them signing Gallo. I mean, I don't really know what the Twins are doing, to be honest. This is a little side tangent just because I'm a Twins fan. But, like, you look at Gallo being a big, powerful lefty, right? Kepler, a lefty as well. Presumably, Gallo will play right field on the days that he does not DH. I'm guessing he would primarily be the DH, though. He kind of is a little bit of a step above Kepler, I would say, especially in the home run category, which baseball is huge on now, right? So you look at somebody like Max Kepler, who is ultimately, I believe, being replaced, right? But he's not a bad player. He does cost a lot of money. He's like close to $10 million. He's becoming a little bit older, 29 years old and going on 30. The dude needs to go somewhere else, I think. And that could be really good for him as well, because you look at a guy like him, he has shown that he can hit and play very good defense. He, I think, has been a great defender, more so than his bat, especially in the last couple of years, but needs a new place of scenery, right? So we're going off of MLB's TradeRumors.com to cover this as well. I think this was reported on yesterday. Basically, there's not a ton of people looking at him, which kind of surprises me, to be honest, just as somebody who watched Kepler again. I think that he is worthy of a good deal for a year or two at least, and then obviously if he continues to decline or stay on the same pace, maybe it's just not for him anymore, but he made his money and, you know, he's done well. But a lot of teams are not really looking at him. The Yankees and Marlins were in on Varsho, which happened like a week ago, I think, or so, with was that Toronto and Arizona. I mean, that's maybe the most comparable teams that you could look at then are the Yankees or Marlins going to be looking at Kepler. For the Yankees' perspective, I don't think that makes a ton of sense, especially if you want to go look at that Reynolds video that we posted. Probably makes a lot more sense to pay the farm system, you know, get rid of a couple of your prospects and go get a switch hitter, fast, hits a lot more home runs than Kepler. I don't think the Yankees are really in the conversation. I don't know why the Marlins were in on that conversation either. I don't know what they're trying to do either. It looks like they're trying to sell. Go back to the Pablo Lopez video. Are they trying to buy Kepler for a year deal? I mean, Rich Hill just signed a 1-year deal with the Pirates. Who knows what MLB is doing right now? But two teams that I do think actually have an interest in Kepler, again, are going to be contenders. I think as a guy who will probably be on the bench most of the time and be kind of that substitute role, maybe play half the games, I would say, as a most. Platoon him, maybe, again, if you're looking for a defense, he goes in. The Dodgers and the Braves are probably two of the bigger names. Of course, the Dodgers have been making some moves this season, but with the loss of Bellinger, a left-handed bat. I think Kepler and Bellinger could be comparable, saying that Max Kepler, I believe, is probably a little bit better. He doesn't have as much of a herky-jerky swing. Maybe he's not as fast. There are definitely comparables through them. So if you wanted to say, hey, Dodgers, give him a chance, I think that could be possible, especially with the Dodgers' huge salary that they always have and now have to fill by losing a couple of guys this offseason. They were close to like $70 million that they needed to fill. Remember that? If you haven't seen that video either, I can't remember which video that was, but it's on the channel somewhere in my recent videos. Whatever. Anyway, so that could be an option, right? The Dodgers, I think, could go by anybody they want. Do they see value in Max Kepler? Possibly. It would make a lot of sense. And again, if you're a Twins fan, you're looking at guys who are young. The Dodgers always have talent in their system. Why not take a chance? I mean, they've traded with them before, so I think there's that possibility again. You look at the Braves as well. I think the Braves are an interesting contender in this conversation. This is straight from the report on MLB Rumors, or MLBTradeRumors.com. The Braves are always a contender. They're going to be a contender, especially with the Phillies bolstering up their offense and defense with Trey Turner. Obviously, they have Harper. Like, this could be a great move for the Braves to pick up, again, a guy who's probably not going to play every day, but Acuna has been hurt. You've got a lefty now in Kepler that could be added to that. I think Kepler's better than Rosario, and Rosario was there for a while, so you look at that straight up. Kepler, I believe, is probably a better player. I know Rosario was hurt for a while. You've got a great guy in Kepler who could at least fill in. And again, maybe you take a prospect or two. The Braves want to win now. Kepler could be that guy. There are two more teams that MLB Trade Rumor says are better fits if you don't want to go contender route. And honestly, one of these teams could be a contender now. The Rangers. The Rangers are reported to have a go-win-now mentality. And again, there are not a ton of outfielders left on the trade market. I would say at least the bigger names. Not saying that Kepler is, a huge name. He's not a Harper or anything. But again, you look at his stats. He at least is an average hitter. And is he going to help a team, especially injury-prone, guys who may or may not have shown up last year? Specifically, Marcus Semien and Corey Seager were not who they should have been last year. The Rangers have always battled some injuries. Kepler's a guy who could fill in, obviously not at shortstop or second base, but fill in on that team and give them some power, give them some great defense, and he could be, again, I hesitate to say this, but that's what I've been saying the entire time. He could be the fill in the blank because he is that guy who will literally just keep your team together, I think. Not going to overpower anybody, not going to be a superstar, but he's not going to slouch either, right? So they're in win now mode. They're going to trade whoever they need to get whoever they need to. The Rangers could be a sneaky pick to get Max Kepler. And finally, this one probably makes the most sense just from a signing standpoint. The Rockies. We don't talk about the Rockies enough on this channel or ever. Like, you're talking about a team who never, ever, ever spends money. Kind of like the Marlins. But the Rockies could make this trade. I don't know who they have in their farm system. I'll be straight up. I didn't know they had a team anymore. The Rockies are in a weird spot, right? They kind of are trying to build. They got rid of Arenado, but then they got Chris Bryant, right? Chris Bryant was hurt. They have guys who could potentially be a franchise player, right? Be good for a couple of years. And I'm not saying, again, that Max Kepler is that piece, but you go get a lefty in the high altitude of Coors Field, he could be a guy that actually shines in Colorado and makes the most of it. Is it Todd Helton, I think, who was a lefty in Colorado? Hall of Famer. Again, I'm not saying Max Kepler is a Hall of Famer, but he could have a renewed career if he goes to Colorado and hits in the high altitude. He is a power hitter. He's a doubles hitter. And the shift will probably... oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about this. The shift is being banned. That's going to help Gallo, obviously, for the Twins. But for Kepler, I think that'll help him even more. You look at a place like Coors Field, especially when he can't be shifted, he's going to poke it through the first and second base side the entire time. So those are just my ideas. There's like 6 teams in there that could possibly make a trade for him. I want to know what you guys think. Who does Max Kepler end up going to, at least at this point in the offseason? There's a lot of rumors about a lot of different guys, but I feel like Kepler might be one of those guys who's underrated, and he's going to perform for you. He's going to be a solid pickup. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.